You're live. You're hot. What's up, everybody? All right, this is a special episode of Beyond the Court, and we have an amazing special guest with us, Kelani Lawrence, Bailey, as many of us know, and we're going to go over and discuss a little bit about the Overland Park event in Kansas, the Super Slam by Team Root, it's absolutely awesome to see the women back on the court. It's great to see racquetball happening. That's what really prompted us to do this. And, Ellie, what do you think? We're going to discuss this before our show on Sunday, the normal show.
Yeah, good idea, Suds. This is fun. This is going to be a fun show on Sunday for sure. It's going to be a fun 3 days here of watching women's professional racquetball. I know you and I have been craving it. And so here we are. We've taken in a little bit of early morning play. Had to get some things done here. That's why we're a couple minutes late, but going to watch a lot of racquetball in this afternoon. Going to have my 12-year-old daughter watching it with me, maybe taking some notes if I step away for a second. And she's down with that. She loves racquetball. She likes taking notes. And so it's going to be a fun weekend, and look forward to it. It's nice to have Kelani on the show, get a fresh face in here. Someone who we both really enjoy watching play as well. We'll be a little honest about who we like and don't like at times watching play. But Kelani is one of our favorites. I used to watch her kind of give it to my girl, Devin Pimentelli, back in the junior days pretty thoroughly. So I've been seeing her play since she was a junior player. So it's great to have you, Kelani.
Kelani, thanks for being here today. We really appreciate it. We would have liked to have seen you, like Ellie said, we enjoy watching you play, and obviously you couldn't play in this event. First off, how you doing? Thanks for joining. And will we see you again soon?
Oh, I definitely hope so. I'm looking forward to being on the court again. Haven't played since the outdoor tournament in Vegas, but it's been a lot of fun being able to watch the girls online. Definitely been different keeping up with them this way as a spectator, but it's still a lot of fun. I get to root for everyone, stay in touch, and now I'm just been working on Christmas cards for everyone, since that's all I can really do right now.
Well, that's good, and we can't wait to get it. But now just for the record, now Kelani, usually what we do is I do like a little monologue before each show. But today, because it's a special edition, it's not going to be a monologue. It's going to actually be a discussion with you and I. So if Ellie touched that we're a little late because some things needed to get done. For the record, you and I were sitting here waiting for Ellie. Is that correct, Kelani?
Yeah, and we are on East Coast time, so we've actually been waiting for him since like 9 a.m. Right. Eastern Standard Time.
But let's talk about why we're late and what Ellie was doing. And I would love to get everybody's reaction that's watching. And of course, Kelani, Ellie went to go pick up, and I repeat, pick up a Domino's pizza. And I'm just floored by that. Like, who picks up a Domino's pizza, let alone any pizza? What happened to delivery? I don't agree with that. Kelani, what do you think about that?
So I'm all about saving money. So I will say that I have ordered food through Grubhub and picked it up, so I didn't have to pay a delivery fee.
Thank you. Not my reason, but thank you. I appreciate you coming to this dark side, apparently. But here's the real deal, Suds. I mean, everything's
I can't be alone on this.
No, you probably are, Scott. Scott's probably on that side of it as well. Saving money. That's why he's reffing so many matches on tour as well. It's not because he likes to get yelled at all the time, but saving a little money while hitting the road on tour. But look, you're right. Back in the pro days and our professional days, we did a lot of thin crust, well done from Domino's. And so just something about Friday for me, every now and then I got to have a little Domino's thin crust, and got a little Peloton ride in this morning. Went and taught a pickleball class early in the morning, got that pickleball in there on you real early in the show. But, all my ladies, all my 65 plus ladies and I were hanging out this morning, working on our pickleball game. So the rest of the day is going to be about racquetball. And so what better way to start than here? But sorry, yeah, I go pick it up because it's right out of the oven. You track her on my phone. I'm in the parking lot. Boom, I'm right in there. But first bite on the way home as I'm driving was burnt my tongue, burnt my mouth. So that there are bonuses to it that you don't recognize. And that's fine. You're in New York. Everything gets delivered in New York. Everything's about delivery in New York.
I mean, who doesn't remember? Thank you, Richie Signs, by the way. He said, I'm not alone. He says, he gets delivery, and Scotty Mack texted us during, and he said he gets delivery. When it comes to Domino's, don't you think of like under 30 minutes? That's the whole deal. But anyway, we can go on and on about this.
Domino's better be paying a lot of money for this slip we're giving them during this show.
That's actually good. Ellie, can you show that box real quick? That's a great point, Kelani. Thank you for that.
But don't
So,
do it. It's not for free.
so whoever is watching, we do want to know, do you deliver your stuff, get it delivered, or do you go pick it up? There's no way that go pick it up is going to win this battle. All right, let's get to the topic at hand. The LPRT Supermax Slam in Kansas, the Team Root event. It's been looking awesome. You know, we've been paying attention. We're going to go through it right now. We're just going to go run through the whole match for match. We're in the round of 16s, and let's start at the top right there. So, Kelani, I'm going to start with you, and then we're going to go to Ellie, okay, on the first one. So in the first one, we're going to have, it wasn't updated yet, but Paola Longoria this evening will play Maciel Rivera. Kelani, what do you think of that matchup, the two players?
I mean, I just think it's going to be a lot of fun watching them play back on the indoor court in a lot of months. So it's kind of leveled the playing field out a little bit. Sorry, it's my dog.
It's all right.
Leveled out even the rankings I've seen. So that's been pretty interesting to watch. I see Paola had, you know, a good first match to start and warm up, and so did Maciel. So I feel like these girls will be ready to fight on the court. Maciel is my little local pro with me, so we meet up at all the local tournaments and the finals usually. So yeah, I think it'll be a fun match to watch. And I do pick Paola to come out on top though.
That was going to be my next question, because we're not going to let you off easy, Kelani. You're going to have to pick every match. I know you have a lot of friends out there, but that's what we do. Ellie, what do you got for us on this next one?
I mean, first, before we even get to the next one, I mean, there's something needs to be said about Lucia Gonzalez. I mean, to play her, looks like 10 and 11 in the round of 16s. That means you're in the game right there. You're putting out some good effort right there to be in that. I think she's a junior, but I don't know for sure. I kind of have lost track on, all the Mexican ladies and the Bolivian ladies, because there's so many good players now. I'm losing track on who's still in the juniors, who's coming out of the juniors. So maybe Kelani could talk a little bit about who she is, how old she is, and all that kind of stuff. But, credit to her right off the bat for at least putting Paola to the test first round. And that'll help Paola get ready for the rest of the tournament, I'm sure. I'll take Paola over Maciel. As you know, Maciel is one of my favorite Bolivian players, Sudsy. But, stepping up into the top ranked, one of the greatest of all time in Paola is not easy, and it won't go well this time.
I agree 100%. Paola is going to come out on top. I think Maciel, she's going to battle. It's going to be fun, but you're playing the greatest woman of all time in Paola. And Ellie, to your point, I just, after you said that about Lucia, Veronica always talks really highly about her and how good she is. And after you said that, now I looked that she scored 10 and 11 off Paola. It's going to be interesting to see how many players actually score 10, 11 moving forward. So we'll get back to it. But Kelani, how old is Lucia? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I'm looking on her Facebook page. I see she just had a graduation. So congratulations to her.
High school or college, though?
It looks like it says congratulations, a master. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Let's get.
I'm trying to get my creep on to see ages, but I'm never good at guessing.
All right. So Kelani, starting with you again. The next match in the 16s will be Carla Munoz versus Jessica Perea. What do you think?
I think. I don't know. I mean, I saw them both at the Las Vegas tournament, but outdoor is such a completely different game. And it is really hard before COVID, I would have all these matches. I'd be able to pick them really easily, but now I don't know who's been training, who's been able to train, who's had access to be able to play other people or any tournaments at all or anything. So it's a lot harder now to choose, but I think Jessica will come out on top on this one because she finished the season last year really strong, especially at the Mexican Nationals last year. So I think she'll come out on top for this matchup.
Ellie, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to take Jessica as well. They both had fairly easy first rounds there with the score line. I think they've played each other a bunch now, and it might be the most watched match online today, potentially. It's always an interesting one. I think it's an 8-9 seed, if I'm not mistaken. So
that's correct.
They're running into each other over the last several years. Jessica's dealt with a little injuries in that time, but I've had a lot of experience being around Carla. She was living here in Stockton and everything. I respect her game and her But I think Jessica probably in a tiebreaker, but let's say like an 11-5, 11-6 tiebreaker somewhere in there.
Yeah, I'm with both of you on that one. I think it's going to be super entertaining. I think they have a very similar game style. And I'm going to go with Perea in a tiebreaker. Well said. So I'm not going to be as specific as Ellie with the 11-5, 11-6. Ellie, by the way, don't let us hold you up from eating that thin crust because Domino's thin crust is phenomenal. So get on that if you need to.
I'm not going to. I'm going to wait. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the oven after and redo it.
Enjoy. All right, let's get to the next one. We have the legend and one of the goats of our sport, Rhonda Racic versus Gabriela Martinez. Kelani, what are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, tough one.
That is a tough one. All these U.S. women that I'm going to have to pick. But I mean, Rhonda's a great player. I had a lot of fun playing with her earlier in 2020, or in 2019, we went to Peru and played together. But I think, yeah, I'll pick Gabby on this one. Do you want me to be specific with scores? But I don't know if I could be as specific. But
you are our special guest, Kelani. You do whatever you want.
I think it depends how these women's serves are getting, because I think Rhonda has some really good serves. And of course, shot selection, just her being a veteran. But Gabby can just run down everything, and she's got a lot of heart. So I don't know. I think Gabby will take this one. Love you, Rhonda.
Ellie, what do you got?
Yeah. Before I get to that, JTRB, no shocker, he had some information. Lucia is 25 years old. So look at him right on the ball. He's just so about racquetball.
JT's the man. I mean, JT's a huge asset in person for our sport. It's beautiful. Thank you, JT.
So, first of all, Rhonda had a tough first round as well. 11-12 with Aaron Slutsky. I know Aaron a little bit watching junior racquetball. I'm not surprised by that score line. Aaron's a lengthy player, feisty, little unorthodox in her mechanics, but she's going to be a good player. She's going to have a chance to play professional racquetball, but I don't like that score line for Rhonda, having to work hard in the 16s like that, coming up against Gabby, who will be fist pumping her to death as she's scoring points. Gabby, and I hope this fires up Rhonda. I hope she hears this and sees this, because Kelani's already picked against her, but I am as well. I'm taking Gabby in 2 straight, but that's for Rhonda. I'm saying it hard like this because I'm wanting Rhonda to get fired up by this BS that I'm spewing here and come out and shock us a little bit.
It's not BS. We all love Rhonda. We all have a long, extensive relationship with her. She's one of the greatest of all time in our sport, male or female. But it's Gabby's time now. Gabby's the 2018 world champion. She beat Paola in the finals. Not many people have done that. And, this is a huge event. The Team Root, the Supermax in KC, Overland Park. I'm going with Gabriela Martinez. And to echo what Kelani said, love you, Rhonda. But with Ellie too, like, hey, I hope you go out there and you guys battle. It'll be a fun one. I've seen you guys compete against each other, and we'll see what happens. But Ellie, I'm with you also. Kelani, we haven't disagreed yet, have we, on anything? So
no, but what's funny is Rhonda's like 41 years old or whatever she is, and she's never retired. Well, she's never retired. She's never announced her retirement, but Gabby did. But she not retired, apparently. You know what I mean? Hasn't maybe even missed a tournament, maybe 1 or 2 in the beginning. So, come on, Rhonda.
Well, that's all I know is I see the main sponsor, Randy Root, online. He says he will be cheering for Rhonda Racic. That holds some water. Randy, great job having this event. Thank you for that. I know the girls are grateful, and racquetball is grateful too for having it. All right, let's get to the next one. Now, Kelani, I'm not going to lie. I texted you earlier today, and I said while this match was happening, Cheryl Lotzi versus Holly Scott. And I asked you, what do you think? And I told you I thought Holly was going to win that match, and you would not answer it, to be fair to both your friends. So now I'm going to ask you, did you expect Holly to win that match? She's going up against Samantha Solace. So first, to the first part of the question, did you expect that? Did you think Holly was going to take Cheryl out?
I wasn't sure. I knew it would be a fun, interesting match. Again, just with people. I know when Cheryl started playing again. I know how often she trains and how hard she works. So I never count her out on any match because I just know how much she trains. But I was hoping that it would transfer to this tournament, but I did watch that match online, and I think Holly played great. She played aggressive. I don't think Cheryl played as well as she knows she can, as well as I've seen her play. So just kind of watching that first game, I knew who was going to take it, but just based on how they were playing today. So I really think it just depends, because I keep in touch with both of them, so I know how hard they're training outside of the tournament. So I never know how they're going to do, how it's going to transfer. So just today, Holly played really aggressive. She was running up, cutting balls off and pinching it. Cheryl was staying deep. So based on how they play today, I didn't have any doubts that Holly.
All right. So basically you did not answer my question, which is
No,
fine.
Walked all the way around it.
Yeah. Ellie and I know. Ellie, she just went like, she didn't even, what was that? I don't even.
That
That
was
was
around
called the
circular.
political answer. That was
She
the
went like this.
politically correct answer.
Like, we're not
Circular.
politically correct here on Beyond the Court. We speak the truth. So I'll let you slide with that one since you're a special guest. Now you have Holly Scott versus Samantha Solace. What do you got for me there, Kelani?
I did not watch Samantha play. Was her match streamed this morning? I don't think it was.
I'm sure you've seen her play 4,000 times. So
True.
what do you think?
Look, she just is back after having surgery. So on her shoulder.
But the other one,
so
opposite shoulder.
Yeah, true. But still, I mean, that affects your training. It really does. But I think, oh goodness. Samantha has an awesome serve. So if she gets her serve going, I think she's gonna blow over Holly. But if Holly plays well, I think it'll be a really fun match. But I think Samantha's gonna take it.
If your dog was meowing, it'd be a cat. So who are you picking?
Don't mind her. She's just, I don't know what she's doing.
Did I hear you pick Samantha?
I picked Samantha.
Ellie, Holly Scott, Samantha Solace.
Yeah, again, before we go on, JTR ball, they have not met in LPRT play yet, so that's interesting. Their first matchup, Samantha is coming back from shoulder surgery, so she's practicing, I'm sure. But here we are in game speed, and Holly Scott, Cheryl Lotz. I was one with you on that, Suds. We were all Holly on that match. They're both in shape, so you can throw the conditioning out the door, because as much as Cheryl stays in shape, so does Holly. She's kind of like the new Cheryl from a couple of years back, but I think she kind of wants it a little bit more, the actual racquetball playing, the execution of it all. So I like where she's at there. She's had some decent coaching, as we know, in the past year. Not sure what's going on with Cheryl on that one. So it was all Holly Scott for me. This is a big one here. And, I'm not sure what I said earlier when we really went through this earlier, Suds, but at this point, seeing the score line there, I'm going to go with the upset here and go Holly Scott to make it through to the quarterfinals with a really tough battle with Samantha. I think it'll go tiebreaker. I think she'll squeak it out, and just not from experience or anything. Just, again, fist pumping will be going on all over the place. When she's done with the match, she might want to duck out quietly so that Samantha doesn't look for her and try to crush her a little bit, because that could happen. She'll probably be disappointed. But I'm going to take Holly, but it won't surprise me if Samantha wins, obviously.
So you got Holly. So I'm the tiebreaker. All right. So I got Holly Scott, Samantha Solace. Samantha Solace, I think, is going to win that match. I think Holly's phenomenal, and she's just like knocking at the door. She's right there to take that step into being somebody that everybody's concerned with when you're a top level women's professional going, I got Holly. And then does Holly take that step that people are looking at her going, oh man, oh no, I got to play Holly too. So I think she's right there. As Cliff Swain, our buddy, said, Ellie, he predicted about a year or two ago that Holly Scott will win a professional event. Samantha, to your point, Kelani's just coming off shoulder surgery. It is her left shoulder. She's one of the hardest working racquetball players in all men's and women's game. I'm going to go with Samantha, but I'm going to go with a tiebreaker. And I think it's going to be a good one. It's going to be super aggressive, super intense. And, but it is a big one. This is a big one for the young Holly Scott, Ellie. We've been there. Kelani, you've been there. Like that confidence, if she wins a match like this today, it could catapult her, her level and her confidence moving forward to something that USA racquetball truly needs. So, but with that said, let me
say this too, as well. The Kelani that we're here on enjoying the show with, and Holly. That's kind of your future of the U.S. women's team there. If they want it to be, if they want to stick around, single in the singles category, maybe some doubles mixed in there as well. But those two are going to be a factor for USA racquetball going forward. So, Kelani, no pressure though,
I think this would be fun for Holly too. I mean, she'll gain the respect she's been needing on the tour as well. It's hard when you're first starting out because you have really low rankings. It's hard to build your way up. But getting a breakthrough to that next, just that next round will really make her jump in the rankings, I think. So that'll help get her better rankings for the next tournaments, and hopefully get her better draws, better seeds, all that fun stuff.
Ellie and I know that all too well when Cliff Swain would kick our asses the first few times we had to play him. And we were like, well, how do we get around that? The same way you didn't answer the Holly and Cheryl question, but we'll get back to that later. Yeah, all right, we're at the bottom half of the draw. And Kelani, here we go. We've got Alexandra Herrera versus Maria Renee Rodriguez.
Maria Rodriguez. Okay. Let's see. I think Alexandra is going to win this one. As much as I respect Maria's game, I think just Alexandra has a one-up just with her being left-handed. She stands really far to the left with her drive serve, and it dies. So she has an awesome, awesome drive serve. But if Maria can move her up and back, side to side throughout the rallies, and just keep her on her toes, keep her moving. Maria does have some awesome serves as well. Maria mixes it up, almost as good as me, but no, she'll mix up her serves, and so you always are guessing with Maria's serve. So I mean, I think she'll do a great job keeping Alexandra on her toes and guessing, but Alexandra she's very consistent with her drives and with her down the lines. So just keeping it to her backhand and just keeping her on her feet, keeping her moving. Maria could take her to a tiebreaker, but I still think Alexandra will win.
Ellie?
Yeah, who's Daniela Rico? Because that's another name that I'm just seeing here. She got 12 points off Alexandra in the first game. Obviously, this is another good player that we're going to hear more of, most likely going forward. Adrienne Haynes, she's got what I could say right now is she's got a lot of heart for continuing to play racquetball professionally. I know her family's growing. She's obviously got good support with the parents in the past and the husband now and the family. So, she's really funny too. A couple years ago in Stockton, she was here for a pro stop, and I just didn't realize her sense of humor was that great. And she's a really funny girl. So, I'm bummed to see her kind of taking it like that. But moving on to the match, Herrera versus Rodriguez. Herrera all day, a fairly routine 2 games.
All right, so we're clear with who you think's going to win that. I'm with you on that one, Ellie. I think Maria Renee really works on her mental strength and conditioning a lot. And there's some things, I had the pleasure of working with her and Gabby. They came down here to train in Ecuador, and she's a super hard worker, super cerebral, wants as much info as possible. But I think this is one of those matches where she'd be better off not thinking too much, just playing, just hitting. And I'm going to go with Herrera as well. Ellie, what do you got?
Before we go on, can we get JTR Ball as like a official spotter for the show going forward? Because I mean, it's awesome. Alexandra's got the 4-0 lead in LPRT over Maria Renee. Those are the kind of things that are great. I mean, the combination of Scott and JTRB would be right on the money. We wouldn't even need to worry about stats. They'll just get fed right into our ear.
We won't even talk. We're going to talk about stats after, because I know Kelani asked what that medal was hanging over your shoulder, which I know she wants one day. All right, let's get to the next match. Kelani, Nancy Enriquez, who is another fan. Veronica's she really likes Nancy's game, says she's a super professional. Ellie and I, to be honest, before this, when we saw Michaela and Nancy, that matchup, we both picked Michaela. Veronica picked Nancy, and Nancy won 11-10 breaker, so she'll be playing Natalia Choca Mendez. What do you think about that match?
That will be an interesting one. Again, I just don't know how much they've been playing since COVID hit.
All things being equal, that's the fun of it. You gotta
equalize and everything. I think I pick Nancy for that one. So yeah.
Ellie?
Yeah, tough round of 16 for Nancy. Michaela's going to be a girl that wins pro stops in the future. So Natalia is also that type of player that's going to win pro stops. Nancy, I'm not sure if she'll squeak by, just age related and that kind of stuff. it's nice to see her playing again. She's been a good player for a lot of years. I've got Mendez in 2 games, but somewhere in the 8 to 12 range in each game. I just think it's tough to come back later in the evening after an 11-10 grinder and then take on somebody who's younger than you, who's got wheels for days, unorthodox with her mechanics and all that stuff, but is so used to winning over the years. That's why she's already ranked what she is. What is she ranked? 6. So, I'll take Natalia in that one.
Yeah, I mean, well said about Nancy, and it's great to see her. And I think she plays and acts obviously like a true professional. She had a battle with Meneses, and with that said, Choka had like a nice warm-up match. I'm going to go with Natalia Choka to win that match also over Nancy. And I think it might be in 2. I think that was a lot of work, especially with the COVID, not training, not being on the court. You got to go battle 11-10, and now we're going to go do it again in a couple hours. So that's never a good feeling. It's actually kind of sucky on the legs, no matter how fit you're feeling, but especially after a long break like this. So I'm going to go Choka in that one too. Choka being Natalia. All right, this next one.
I will say something really quick, but sometimes for me in a big tournament, I don't necessarily like to have a quick or easier first match, especially when you're coming. This is the first indoor tournament in like months, so I honestly think a tougher first match, especially in this case, will help her dial in and be able to focus more. And I mean, honestly, have her serves come in a little more, because I think just mentally you're more prepared for the next round. So, but we shall see.
Kelani, that's because you have wheels for days.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like you can play hours and hours of racquetball. You're in between rallies. It looks like you're still moving your feet. So your movement and Nancy's, although Nancy's a great professional, I see that a little differently. But I know what you mean. I didn't like that myself. I didn't like battles in the first round. I wanted an easy one and then gear up mentally for the next round as they get harder and harder. But to your credit, I understand what you're saying for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't all about the easy, but I wouldn't mind like a nice little warm up. Like I didn't want super easy. Like, like this guy didn't want to be here and he's already intimidated because it's, and like I wanted somebody that would fight and be decent, but definitely didn't want to play Ellie in the first round. So, all right. And JTR ball, Natalia and Nancy is 1-1, tied on the LPRT. Thank you, JTR ball. All right. This one is intriguing, and this might be a look into the future, Kelani. This is your competition moving forward with years to come. Valeria Centellas, who did a number on one of our top U.S. players in Annie Roberts, against Angelica Barrios, and I don't know. Those are the 2 top Bolivians, isn't that correct?
Mm-hmm. I
With
think
Michaela right there
too. Yeah, I'm going to take Valeria on this one. I think she's been working hard throughout quarantine to like stick to her new diet that the Argentinians have issued her. I think she looks great. So I'm going to take Valeria.
Yeah, you mentioned our U.S. player, Annie Roberts. She's living here in Stockton, going to University of Pacific, so I get to see her quite often. She works hard. This level she's building towards that. Hopefully, she'll get there someday. But this is a good learning experience being in KC for her, just to be around a racquetball tournament again, but to take in the best players coming from everywhere. So it's good for her. No surprise about that result, though. This is a battle. I'm going to take Valeria as well, but I do expect a tiebreaker, although I'll take, kind of an 11-3, 11-4, 11-5 type of tiebreaker. I think she'll be in control. But, yeah, no surprise for Barrios beating Amaya. We both called that earlier today. Saw that one coming.
Did you watch that match, Ellie?
Yeah. Didn't love it. Didn't love watching it. I was in and out. Kind of made me a little grumpy early on. I just think Amaya has a lot more potential than she actually outputs. Okay. There's a lot of areas I see her mechanics just need some real work. I know she's got ball sense with the squash background coming into racquetball. I've seen her play better than what I was watching this morning for sure. But yeah, hey, everyone ages out a little bit too. Not saying she's old, but you've been on tour for a little while now. Your tour years matter, almost more than your actual age years sometimes when it comes to racquetball. So. We'll see a good match, I think, in the round of 16s here between these 2 Bolivians. Even though one says it's from Argentina, we know she's Bolivian.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it simple too. I like Barrios. She's got an interesting game style. Kelani, have you played Barrios?
I have not. I don't
Okay.
think. JT, you want to check that?
Yeah. That's right. Well, JT's got Valeria and Angelica at 0 first time matchup, which is pretty cool. I like the country thing that's happening here because Valeria just went to Argentina. So Barrios is going to want to step up and represent Bolivia. Barrios has a very interesting game style, but I do think Valeria has been working super, super hard. And I'm not saying Angelica hasn't. I think Valeria is going to come out on top here, but a tiebreaker wouldn't surprise me because when you get that, that friendship in there and that personal relationship and that court, things change a little bit. But I'm still going to go Valeria, taking this match. All right.
Are they friends? Are they
Yeah,
friends?
they are friends. They're friends.
Okay, just
Yeah.
checking. Sometimes that's not always the case when you come from the same country.
Yeah, that's true. No, they are. And I do have a question. I mean, I see a bunch of like junior females from the US who are playing in this tournament. How many, I mean, is it Erin's first LPRT? I don't think I've seen her name in the draw. And the same with Annie. I'm not positive that they've played in any LPRT events.
Kelani, that's an awesome question. And that's something another show at another time, because Ellie and I touched on it earlier, how when we were juniors and we wanted to be professionals or be the Team USA players or the next level of play, we were starving for information and we wanted to know things. And the fact that you're a veteran on the US team, you're one of the country's best players, don't know that tells me that they're just not communicating enough with you. And I'm certainly not saying be buddy, right? Like Ellie and I will tell you, like, we're not about, you got to be best friends and taking selfies together and then go compete, because I do think that changes the mental approach a little bit. But I would love for you to know that answer, but love it because those girls reached out to you. And whether it was, hey, Kalani, I'm going to my first pro stop, or what do you think? Or like, so that's something maybe,
Well, I had actually talked to some of the girls about doing like a mentorship thing where it's specific to your country, where you just kind of learn about the pro tour. Because I feel like a lot of the, and again, this might be another topic for another show, but I feel like a lot of girls fall off because they come to a pro stop, they sign up. None of the girls bring them in, to let everyone does their own thing. You have your little routine. You have your friends or who you talk to, part of your routine. If you don't know Spanish, it's a little hard for you to communicate with most of the players on the tour. And then you leave and you lose the first round to like the number one player. And you're like, well, that sucked. Like, why would I want to compete on the pro tour? So just having a way, that to onboard like a job, because you do, I mean, it is like a job. You want your new employees, you want to have them on board, trained, like give them the expectations, what you can expect your first couple years on the tour. Try and bring them in, show them the ropes, stuff like that, just because I feel like that's how you keep the players playing.
That's a cool, interesting idea. My perspective on that is, yes, I like the way that sounds, and that's a great idea. But I think that's certainly not somebody that's competing against somebody's job. So if I was coaching you and you said, hey, Erin and Annie and these junior girls want me to take them under their wing and teach them, and you want to be the best, and that's what they want to do, my advice to you would be, no, you're not. That's not your job. Like, your job is to go out and be the best player in the world. And maybe it's somebody else's job, but to your point, maybe that's a whole nother show. So we'll talk about that another time.
Maybe it's a tour of Mexico and Bolivia with chaperones to get really in front of the competition on a whole, because that's the reality right now. There's not a lot of American girls that are in the draw right now. So something to think about as well. I mean, they do that here. There's a lot of international players that do get into the States at a younger age and get their feet wet in the game here with where most of the tournaments are. So progressive, being progressive for USA Racquetball and the players that make up this country here is changing. Things are changing, and progressive moves need to be changed. I mean, you live in Cuenca, Ecuador, Suds. I mean, right there. That's an example.
Change is definitely necessary, but that's a whole nother discussion. So we'll talk about that another time. All right, this matchup might be, to me personally, this is probably the matchup of the round of 16s, and there's a lot of good matches. You've got Montse Meija versus Maria Vargas. Kelani, what do you think? The number 15 seed versus the number 2 seed, Montse and Maria Vargas.
I mean, how pregnant is Maria right now?
That's a good question.
I
Fair
think
question.
that's a great question, and it's public knowledge. As we all know, if you follow anything on social media, Maria Vargas is pregnant. She's, I believe, 3 months pregnant, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less, not much
Long
more.
enough to know they're having a boy, right?
Right, which is 3 to 4 months usually.
Somewhere in
So
there. So you're the new pro on that.
I don't know. I see Natalia Choka's online. What's up, Natalia? Maybe Natalia knows. Do you know how many months she's pregnant? So yeah, what do you got, Kelani? Natalia? I mean, Monty and Vargas.
I think Vargas.
That's it?
That's
That's
it.
That's all you got.
I don't think pregnancy is a disability whatsoever. It might make you think twice about diving, but if you're really good enough, you shouldn't even need to dive that much. So I pick Maria Vargas over Montse.
Ellie.
I mean, I'll say this, that, this is her second pregnancy. And so, you get stronger when you have a baby, you just get stronger. We've witnessed that with our wives and a lot of people know that and understand that as well. So, with child several months in, 4 months in, let's say, I think she's probably okay in terms of that being a factor or not being a factor. Now, she is a diver, one of the greatest divers in the female game of all time, like literally in the top 3 of all time. So will she be able to resist? Is she worried about that? There's little things there for me. Nobody's played in a while and all that. I'm going with the upset here. I said it earlier. I'm taking Mejia on this one because she's no slouch. I mean, she's a good player. She has big wins under her belt in the past. So she can take on and represent that number 2 seed pretty well and find herself advancing through the draw if she gets by this true test. Now, again, won't surprise me if Maria Jose wins the match and moves on and then ends up in the finals or even winning this damn thing. It wouldn't surprise me. What a story that would be, though, if you're 4 months pregnant and you win this baby. But I'll take Mejia.
All right. Yeah. I mean, Ellie, playing pregnant, I obviously that's something that I really wouldn't know anything about. So I would say that, but knowing Vargas's game style and something that to me was a telltale, is she playing doubles or is she not? I thought she was not. Is that correct? Can anybody confirm that? Or
Look
I'll go
up that draw real quick.
Okay, she is not. So Maria Vargas is not. Now, if she was feeling 100% and wasn't thinking about the pregnancy, she'd be playing doubles. And I think that, not playing doubles with Natalia, with Choka there, tells me a little bit of that she might be a little bit reluctant on certain things. She's a wicked aggressive player. She's, she's in the top 10 of all time, I think. I'm going to go with Monty in an upset. But like Ellie said, I think Monty takes that number 2 slot if she does upset her. No problem. I mean, I'm fine with Vargas or Monty being the number 2 seed in any tournament running through. So I'm going to go with Monty in an upset. So there's our second disagreement.
I do think maybe they're moving Valeria in to be that doubles team because, I mean, they brought her on. We have 3 women playing for Argentina. We have Natalia, Valeria, Maria. So where does Valeria fit into this? I mean, I think they brought her on board when they go compete at Worlds or Pan Ams. Someone has to be a doubles only player. Who's that going to be? I think maybe they're trying to move Valeria into that role and keep Maria just playing singles. Who knows? But that might be
Kelani, that's a great perspective. And maybe the 3 of us will be coaching an international or our country's team one day. But I'm a firm believer, and you guys know I coached Ecuador, and I'm always about putting the best team and best players out there. I'm not looking to make room. Ellie, I would love to hear your opinion on that. If I have what I believe as the coach, and it's my responsibility, this is the best team to go win and get medals. That's what I'm doing. I'm not looking to make room like, well, all right, I have Kelani, Veronica, and Paz, but it's not fair. Like, I want to get somebody in to play. I'm putting out the best team, period. And that's my responsibility that I feel to the coach, to the country, and to the players, But so if you think Valeria belongs there as, she should take that spot, that's different. Sometimes it happens, obviously, where, hey, you know what? It's nice to have an Alex Landa and a Rocky Carson, to make that choice. But, I don't know. I hear what you're saying, but is that the best thing? Ellie, what are your thoughts on that? Like finding spots for people?
Yeah, sure. Great. I've never I've never said I would ever coach any U.S. national team or other countries. So now don't lob me in that little thing that you just put together there. No chance. I had to live with my dad dealing with being the team coach for a long time, and he had a ton of pride in it, really loved the position. That's why he was in it for so long. But believe me, my mom and I were riding him on this side of it. And there's a lot of politics always involved in this crap. And
you
so,
think,
so I get frustrated with it. You don't really want me to, I don't really want to get into it. I don't really care that much either. I will say that, we got a lot of love for Argentina because in 1994, 95, I got to go there and played the trials and the Pan Am games. And obviously being successful in the Pan Am games in 95. And that's the medal that's over my shoulder here. That's now being hit by the sun there. That's great. How the hell are they putting together these teams that are, how's that work? I don't even understand that story. I want to know about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's more of the question. I mean, Veronica and I have talked about it. I'm like, hey, babe, get your passport. Like, go play for the United States. Go try, go compete. And I don't get how they make it so easy, like Colombia and Bolivia, Argentina. I don't know. But anyway.
Right. Like things are, and there's not a lot of courts in Argentina. I'm pretty sure of that. So, it's cool that this is happening so that more Bolivian players can be on national teams, because there's only a certain amount of players that can represent at a given event. But, it just kind of shows you how strong Bolivia is right now. You don't see a lot of Mexican players. I don't believe they've started to play for other countries. So it's an interesting situation. I'd like for somebody to, kind of talk on that one of these days on the show and find out a little bit more about that. But, Bolivia is a great country to travel around and play racquetball. And I've done so a couple of times. I've had some memorable moments. I've had some ridiculously bad moments as well. So, it's a spot for me that I really cherish. And I love the country. I love the racquetball vibe that's down there. And congrats to them and their players on being able to branch out and play for Argentina.
All right. Well, Ellie, Kelani, we're going to close it out here. Kelani, thank you so much, seriously, for joining. I know you got, we spoke quickly and you were like, I'm in, let's do it. So I really, really appreciate that. Ellie and I, Scotty Mac, we wish you nothing but the best. And, hopefully we'll see you again soon. Everyone that's watching, Ellie and I will see. Ellie, you got any closing words here? Or are you just dying to get to your thin crust Domino's pizza here?
Yeah, it's cold. I'll have to go heat it up. But no, I'm, gonna tap into the round of 16 tonight. 16s or quarters tonight? 16s,
16s, right? Good matches.
16s tonight. Gonna watch some of those. Looking forward to watching Kelani again in the future here. Hopefully this isn't the only event that we have, for the next 3 or 4 months. Congrats to Randy Root and the group in Kansas City. And if you're out there and you have a negative vibe about a tournament happening, like you're that negative person about COVID and you're almost angry that you can't get out of the house and go do things, but there's a whole racquetball tournament going on, then get over yourself. Be happy for the people that decided to travel and make the trip and play the sport. And you can be worried a little bit, but get over that, get over yourself on that. Hopefully everyone's just trying to do the right thing when they're off the court, mask up, do whatever that means to you, get out of the building if you need to, and prepare for your next matches or whatever. But it's great to have racquetball on for us that are at home right now and without any racquetball to play or watch. And that's what we're getting to do. So look forward to a weekend of ladies racquetball.
Kelani, would you like to say anything to your many fans that are going to see this?
Well, I just want to stay relevant. That's why I agreed to be on here.
No problem.
I'm excited to hopefully be able to play soon. And if not, at least be present watching. I know this tournament specifically didn't allow any spectators. And there's no amateur division either. So they're really just there by themselves. I mean, I know they're allowed maybe one coach, I think. I'm not sure how many were able to make the trip. And then we had the tournament this month in Maryland that was canceled as well. So a lot of them might have already bought their tickets to go over here. So it's been kind of a rough, tournament for them to try and make it, especially players out of the country, make it all the way to Kansas, hoping that they would at least hit 2 stops and then having to go home, make it back for Christmas. But I did invite everyone over to my house if they wanted to for Christmas, but they didn't have a place to stay if they needed like a layover spot. But hopefully I'll be able to see everyone again soon. It's been fun talking to you guys. So thank you for inviting me on.
Thanks for being on. Suds, are you frozen? Yep, he's frozen. Well, Scotty, unless he's doing the best acting job we've ever seen, that's Sudsy frozen with his bad Wi-Fi there in Cuenca, Ecuador. And we'll go ahead and just close the show. Thanks again, Kelani, for being on. And Scotty, you can take us off.